Yes, this is the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. She's Kim McAllister. And as we were saying, as Jimmy Kimmel was saying, please support the show. Thank you for everyone for being here and be such big supporters of the show. We are 100% crowdfunded, but a thumbs up and a share is all we really ask you to do if you cannot donate to the show. But our super chats and super stickers are always open. All right. You guys have been in the comments really early today, which I absolutely love. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, comments about Jimmy Kimmel's, I guess, monologue.
His return monologue, or
the return monologue.
Yeah.
Everyone's eyes were on it. There's a lot that's happened between that monologue and now. A lot's been said, both by, I would say, honestly, by a lot of Republicans, because both Donald Trump and obviously the shooting at the ICE facility in Dallas, and the response to that. And once again, this war of words that apparently Democrats lose every single time, Kim. That is my question to you guys. Jimmy Kimmel, in my opinion, knocked it out of the park. I think everyone was wondering, how do you, I keep wanting to say it, and then I'm like, God, it's Newsom's line. How do you meet the moment? You know what I mean? Like, how do you meet this moment? How do you respond in a way that is not, negating the fact that he didn't really say what they're saying he said? He did not say it. But at the same time, acknowledging that you've obviously pissed off and hurt a lot of people, but then also acknowledge the big problem with what's happened. And I think he did it beautifully. And then at the same time, the response, not only to Charlie Kirk's murder by the right, because mind you, the Republicans did exactly what they're accusing Jimmy Kimmel of doing. They instantly blamed the lunatic left. We didn't have a suspect. They still are saying they. Who's they? Democrats? Anybody that votes differently than you? And yet, Kim, they in some way are not called out for inciting division, violence, or anything of the sort. Because if we call them out in some way, shape, or form, we are then tarnishing the memory of Charlie Kirk or doing something like that. How is this happening? How are we losing this argument?
It doesn't make any sense to me, because, as you say, from the moment that the nation learned of this death of Mr. Kirk, the right and MAGA used it to whip up some type of anti-left fervor, not only leveling blame, but saying this is war, right? I would say inspiring the very violence that they accuse the left of inspiring.
Exactly.
So it felt wrong to me. Regarding Kimmel, he had to kind of walk a fine line. I would argue only with one thing that you said, which is he had to acknowledge that he hurt people.
Right.
I don't think Jimmy Kimmel hurt anybody.
Oh, no.
I think anybody that really knew what he said wasn't hurt by it at all. Maybe they disagreed that they liked Trump's response, but Trump's response and what he poked fun of was the media asking for a comment about Kirk's death, and Trump saying, yeah, he died. And also, look at my ballroom, right?
That was the joke. That was the joke.
That was the joke. And during the day of the death, he actually sent made a heartwarming post to the Kirk family. So I don't think he hurt anybody, and I don't think he had anything to apologize for. Jimmy Kimmel got caught up in, as he said, a guy who can't take a joke, who has a very sensitive disposition and a very fragile ego, and he's someone who is kind of like, oh God, those people. Hate to say it. Those people that
I hate to say it, but I will.
I hate to say it, but let me say it. Those people that react so over the top when someone teases them or bullies them,
Yes.
that then the bullies and the comedians and the teasers or whoever it may be, they're like, oh, I got the reaction out of that, let's do it
Let's
more.
keep
he
going
was
it. Yeah.
he was that guy in school, right?
Mhm.
Like, never learned how to deal with people, never learned how to rise above, never learned
Oh God, no.
how to be okay with criticism. And so Jimmy Kimmel got caught up in that. And then, because of Trump's power, knowing that the FCC had to approve some type of deal between
Mm.
ABC and whatever the name of the company is, he was able to leverage that power to silence a critic. That's what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. He didn't offend anybody, but still,
Mm.
he came on the airwaves and tried to bring those two sides, or those people who feel like he said something offensive that probably didn't even realize he never said anything offensive, tried to bring them together. If I had one criticism, and this is going to be very unpopular, and I'm gonna, the right, whoever on the right, if I'm even important enough to note, will be like, oh, see, she's one of them. If I had any criticism, it would be that Jimmy Kimmel's voice kind of cracked and he got emotional when he talked about Charlie Kirk's wife forgiving the man who shot her husband. Because when I saw Erika Kirk say that, while it's a lovely sentiment and the very Christian thing to try and rise
Mhm.
to,
Mhm.
I thought it was all very contrived. I didn't see
You
a
don't think that she meant it?
I if she did mean it, that's great, but I felt like it was, as they say, performative. I felt like this was all a
Mm.
big thing playing for the cameras. I didn't feel the grief. I didn't feel from her any genuine sense of anything really.
Interesting.
I just felt like this was a big performance, and she probably is heartbroken. I would be, but for some reason feels like she has to carry on his legacy. So she's getting out in front of the cameras and doing this, you know, the way she thinks a grieving widow ought to act, maybe. But I just
Mm.
felt like it feels, there's something ungenuine about it to me.
Okay, I will full disclosure, I
Mhm.
could not bring myself to watch any of it.
Okay.
I don't I don't want to honestly watch any of it. And maybe it's because of what you're talking about. I feel like it's the whole thing is performative. I feel like
Yeah.
the whole, everything since Charlie Kirk's death has been exploiting his
Hmm.
death. From the moment he was killed,
Yeah.
the GOP and the right have been exploiting his death. They have used every trick in the book to use it to attack the left. And while I do believe that Erika Kirk is heartbroken that she's lost her husband, I don't know what
Sure.
their marriage was like.
No.
But I think that her saying I forgive him falls in line with the brand at the very least, right? And
Hmm.
I will say this, if it falls in line with the brand, shit, it's a hell of a lot better than what Trump said right after her, which is
Which
like,
is, I
"I
hate my
hate
enemies
my
and
I
I
hate
want
my enemies and my opponents," and it was like,
he does, and
"Seriously?"
he said, I want bad things to happen to my enemies and opponents.
And
And
so this is what I'm talking about.
isn't
Like,
Trump's
how can
whole
he
point
say
like,
that?
right, yes. He just said he wants bad things to happen to people. All I can hope is that I always teach my kids this. We don't wish ill on others. We don't say we want bad things to happen to people because, well, I'm not religious, like organized religion. I there is a spiritual nature to me in that I do believe the karma wheel spins around.
I
And I
hope
feel like
so.
when you wish ill on others, sometimes ill may come back to you. So all I can hope is that when Trump said that, I hate my enemies and I wish bad things happen to them. Okay.
Well, when's that wheel gonna come around? Because he said
I don't
some
know.
awful things over the years. My God,
He,
this must be a big ass wheel.
I
You
don't,
know what I mean?
he threw it out into the universe, so I don't know.
But this is a great example of how literally the leader of our country
Yeah.
can, on one hand, say the lunatic left is raising political tension so much that people are getting shot and killed. And yet, you, the
Mhm.
president of the United States, have used the exact same words, the exact same rhetoric toward the Democrats. We have it on tape. And then during the actual memorial for the guy who you're exploiting for this reason,
Yeah.
you say you hate us.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But yet, you guys, they're still winning this war of words. You can't, at least you can disagree with me all you want, but the Republicans, and maybe it's because of what's happening, they're controlling the airwaves. They can cry in their soup all they want to, but they are controlling every single kind of major media outlet and saying the exact same friggin' thing. Oh my God, the lunatic left. And it doesn't, and it sucks because, and I want to phrase this the right way because I know people are like, you're blaming Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Charlie Kirk did say some really offensive things.
Truth.
He should not have been murdered for it.
Right.
Okay. He should not have been murdered for it. Okay. That's true. But you can't say awful things in a country with a gun and mental illness problem and think there may not ever be consequences for it. He should not have been murdered for it, but we do have a gun and mental illness problem. So there's that risk. And I will then move on to what happened in Dallas. You cannot work for ICE and do, in my opinion, really awful, illegal, constitutionally illegal things, i.e., violate people's due process, cover your face, not identify yourself, literally pull people off of the street and not think people are upset, and then do it in a country with mental illness and gun problems and think that people aren't going to react. And then have the audacity to blame.
You're not saying that that's right. You're just
saying
that
that can happen, and people can be pissed off and still not be part of a political party. Like, it doesn't have to have anything to do with politics. It could have to do with the fact that people are out of their friggin' mind. Yeah. Look at something and be like, I'm going to do something about that. They're not thinking politics. They're not thinking party platform. They're just out of their friggin' mind. Yeah. And it's wrong to equate the Democratic Party or liberals with crazy ass people doing crazy ass stuff. Yeah. It's not right.
Because
we shouldn't do that
everywhere. There's crazies all over the place. Mindy says there's violence because everyone's getting hurt by this administration. I mean, we're in some dark times right now. That's for sure.
I'm in the whole friggin' writing ice on friggin' bullets and cartridges and blah. Who cares? Like, that does not mean that it's the Democrats that are responsible for it. Guess what? A lot of people are mad. And it doesn't mean that they're Democrats. It could just mean that they're crazy and mad. Like, it's so insane, though, that the Republican Party gets to come out and point the finger across the aisle and just say it over and over again. And honestly, I don't think there's enough pushback on that. There is not, from our leaders being like, that is irresponsible
and wrong.
You are creating, political violence. We are not, as a political party, pushing back on that rhetoric enough. It's like we're scared to. Yeah. And I don't understand why. And this whole idea of erasing things about right-wing violence, like research into right-wing violence is being erased. Like, are you friggin' out of your mind?
The study that was on government websites that showed there was more political violence done by people on the right than the left. Someone's keeping score, I guess. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. I mean, you mentioned something a couple of moments ago when you're talking about the message from the left, that we're failing at the messaging. And I really think that's true. There's a couple stories that really resonated with me in the last few days. And one of them shows that the GOP is out registering voters for the midterm elections.
Oh, of course.
And then you couple that with word that so many colleges, groups in colleges, are requesting visits from Turning Point USA, and word out of Oklahoma from a guy
Yep.
that resigned his position, but wants to bring a Turning Point USA chapter to every single high
High
school in the
school.
state of Oklahoma.
Yep.
Now you and I both know that the day Charlie Kirk died, our daughters who are in high school, juniors in high school, both called us to say Charlie Kirk got murdered, as
Mm-hmm.
if it was a very important thing to the people in high school that they thought that we should know that this happened, which I'm grateful that our daughters are aware of things that are going on in the world, but it surprised me that this was something that caught their attention. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know my daughter knew who Mr. Kirk was.
Mm.
So I feel like there's something in the message that is attracting young people, that even if they don't agree with him, everyone knows who he
Oh,
is.
yeah. Yeah.
And now you have an encouragement from MAGA to put this in high
Oh, yeah.
schools. And you and I both know that it's 16-year-olds learning to drive that are pre-registering to vote at the DMV, right? And 18-year-olds that are able to vote. And so this is where they get them, and this is where they start. And if we have a hope of saving America, of preserving our Constitution, of protecting what we have, then we on the left have to do a better job. Or even if you're not on the left, if you're just for let's bring back the Constitution and American
Right.
ideals, like even if you just love America, you don't have to be a progressive. That message has to be given to kids. The teachers that are trying to share the truth with kids about what our Constitution says, about what's happening right now, they're being fired if they say anything online, if they say anything that the administration doesn't like. We saw in Texas this teacher tried to do a lesson on some trans thing,
Mm-hmm.
fired because some kid in the class didn't want to hear that message, and it went against the college's deal with Trump, whatever it was. I just feel like they're trying to keep the real truth
Mm.
away from kids, and instead kind of infiltrate them with this message that is inaccurate and hateful.
I feel like we're in the upside down, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, and I hate to kind of put it this way, but it's as if we're feeling, even though we're feeling what they're claiming they have felt, right? As if they have felt that our colleges have been indoctrinating their
Mhm.
children into this liberal ideology forever. And now they want to do the same. That's what they're trying to do. They
Yeah.
feel like we've been doing it. And so now they want to do it. Right. So that's literally what it is. So now, Kim, like, follow me down this road. So what's going to happen now is we're going to be bringing people to campuses a
Mhm.
la Milo. You know, what's his name? Yiannopoulos. What is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. That
Right.
crazy plays you
But it's going to be
crazy,
on
yeah.
the other side.
Yeah.
It's going to be people talking about LGBTQ issues. And all
Right.
of a sudden, it's going to be a bunch of right wingers protesting us. Don't let them on our campus to talk about it, because God forbid somebody hears this insane. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's going to be, if this happens, that could be the reality again. Like, think about that.
After the death of Kirk, Transportation Secretary under Trump right now, Sean Duffy, came out and said, it's because of those colleges. They're radicalizing the kids.
Oh,
You
God, give
send
me a
your
friggin'
kid
break.
you send your kid to college to be radicalized. And I thought immediately, they're trying to keep people dumb. Remember when
Yes,
Trump said, I'm a fan of the undereducated, or whatever, the low IQ individuals, or whatever it was he said. They don't want people to study, to take political science classes, to have their eyes opened at what their rights truly are, or what the country was truly founded on. They don't want an educated populace, because if
no,
the populace is educated, they can't spin their lies and yarns and keep us all stupid. And
exactly.
it but that's what it felt like when Duffy said that. They're trying to keep our kids stupid. And I wonder how many people are now thinking, well, I was going to send my kid, said he wants to go to college, but now, that's where they send them radicals. So I don't want my kid to go to college and come back some liberal. So I'm not going to let my kid go to college. And then you have an even furthering of the dumbing down of America, which is part of our problem. Let's be honest.
And then add AI into it, where people aren't even doing their own research anymore,
Right.
aren't even picking up a book anymore.
Thank
They're
you.
just putting it into a computer. And then, and I don't know how it works because it's above my pay grade, but who's programming the AI? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Mama, you make a good point. And this is just a side note I want to make. I have created I have a Facebook page, and I've been trying to not have any politics in it. Like, I've been trying to just make it no politics.
Yeah.
Literally, I follow 0 political news sites. Do you want to know how hard it is for me to say I'm not interested in, like, right-wing news? Every time I hit not interested, I'm not even kidding, another right-wing news channel or story pops up. Nothing in my thing says I want to see that, but it keeps popping up and popping up and popping up. Now, I'm not saying it's like some conspiracy, but I do think that it's
reason.
Is
it because they're pushing it, or is it because there's
that's the
just
thing that
more of
everyone's
it?
talking about? Like, I have no idea how it works, but I will say I've been seeing a ton of it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to see it. I've been trying to, like, have a place where I can just, I don't know, look at puppies.
Let me just be.
You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
honestly, just be. And it's so hard. It is really, really hard.
Well, and that brings me to this point about with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, the right saying, see, look at on television, it's all those reporters and all those news people and all those hosts, and they're all, this is what Trump said, all wings of the DNC. They're all Democratic. And so because they're a part of the DNC talking points, that they're against the GOP, then it's somehow a campaign violation or an equal and fair rights doctrine violation where everyone should get equal time.
Right.
That, somehow that violates the law, and that's why they should be pulled. But if you look at, as you just mentioned, what's going on social media, right-wing stuff gets shoved at you every time you turn around. If you turn on any radio anywhere in America, your chance that you're going to get some right-wing crap full of lies, misinformation, and fill in the blank shoveled to you on your radio is pretty high.
Yep.
Because you can't really count on any balanced or any type of station from even the left. It's all going to be right-wing talk radio. That's what our nation is now. So because of that, it feels like they're trying to stamp out and take away the few remaining voices that are left,
of course,
that are either trying to tell the truth, like some people say mainstream media is not the truth. Bullshit.
Right.
Either they're trying to get rid of mainstream media, the folks that are trying to give you the truth, or they're trying to get rid of any criticism like late night hosts.
Of course. They get rid of comedy. Yep.
When they do that, all messages across all platforms will be on the left. I guess we'll just be talking to ourselves in a void at that time.
Well, and again, we talked about this last week, the dilution, like diluting of media.
Yeah. Oh, dilution.
Of media, where everyone's getting it from so many different sources. Right. And I think that's the one thing they can't control. Although the whole TikTok thing that broke today, if you haven't heard, obviously Donald Trump has had to deal with China and ByteDance, where the U.S. is going to be basically taking control. China will have less than 20%, or ByteDance, of TikTok, which is a very popular social media platform, which a lot of people get their news from. How much control they're going to have over what's on that, it's another place, because they know that if you can control the news on social media platforms, that's just another place, just like YouTube. So YouTube, hi YouTube,
hi.
Briefly let on Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes again, and then apparently pulled them again. So apparently it was a pilot program. They were briefly let on and then taken off because they've allowed now the channels that were taken off for COVID and election misinformation, they're now letting back on. They said that the Biden administration had forced them to remove these channels. And so now they were righting that wrong. People were dying because of that misinformation.
Yeah.
People were dying because people would put on a white jacket. And you guys can think that I'm exaggerating, but do you guys remember 2020? I mean, I don't know if people like this is the thing. People's memories are so short, Kim.
Yep.
But CNN had a death count. The refrigerated trucks, like I don't. It was not. It was 5 years ago, and people are like that was COVID. It blows my mind how much people poo-poo COVID now. You know what I mean? As if it wasn't a huge thing. People were dying in droves. And people, I understand were losing their livelihoods. I'm not trying to poo-poo that as well, right? But the idea that yes, the guidance and the science was changing rapidly, and I understand how aggravating and angry and everything was just so in flux. And in hindsight, we could have done things so much differently. I get that. But at that moment, it seemed like everyone with a white jacket was hopping on YouTube and saying whatever you wanted to hear. And people were grasping for whatever they wanted to hear. Now, does that make it right that Biden was pressuring Google to stop amplifying the voices of those that did not have the credentials to be having those channels? I have to say no. I mean, if we really truly believe in free speech, right? But it is a private company. It's not ABC, right? I mean, I don't know if do we put YouTube in the same area as ABC or do we put it in the same as Fox News, right? I don't know.
Wow, that's a hard one. You can't really compare it to ABC because it doesn't have a federal license and it doesn't have to uphold to certain standards. It's
Right?
still
You
kind of
can
the wild west of
right.
broadcasting, if you will. But it also isn't Fox because it's not on standard general airwaves, and it does present both sides, weird sides, some weird sides on the left and some weird sides on the right, and also a mix of stuff in the middle that's true. And it's harder to navigate that because you don't know what's right and what isn't right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know where you put it in, or I don't know how you regulate it to make it so that people that are belligerent, lying, threatening, right? I mean, you had who are those kids? The guy that got busted with a pizza delivery in some other country.
oh,
Those
yeah. The bold
misogynist,
dude. Yeah, that bold
those the brothers that are
yeah.
misogynists, and they advocate the attacks of a sexual nature on women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you can't have that. I don't care what airwaves you're on, whether it's YouTube or ABC, you can't have people advocating violence against people. And so there has to be some standard across all platforms that we have to uphold that won't
So the
infringe
genie's
on
out of the bottle with the
free
internet.
speech. Yeah, yeah. I don't
It
know.
is because you can't regulate it. I mean, it's just like everything else. We make a technology and then we try to play catch up in
But you
regulating it.
can
But
regulate it. If we play music or if we play something from a broadcast that is copyrighted or whatever it is, they have these, little spider bots that crawl through the
true.
data and will get us like that. We'll get demonetized in a
Words are
heartbeat.
different than that, though. I mean,
Not
words,
necessarily. If you say a word that is on the banned YouTube list, what did I wanted to use the other day on a thumbnail, the word perv, PERV. And Mark's like, we can't use that word. It's on the banned list. We can't use the word perv.
right,
What? I can't say perv even,
right,
right? I couldn't even say the R word. I had to just then a moment ago say assault of a sexual nature
right.
because
Or
I'm worried.
grape.
or grape or unalived or whatever ridiculous
Right.
thing, that because we're getting caught for words now, that words that are flagged as offensive for whatever reason, even if they're words that come up in a truthful sharing of ideas and conversation. So I don't know. I think there's a way to regulate things, and I think there's a way to have standards.
Yeah, and I get that. I just, I feel like with YouTube and this platform and how
Mhm.
people are using it more and more to get quote unquote news, I think it's going to be even more important to have some sort of regulation. But again, who regulates it? The FCC. I don't trust Brendan Carr. I
Oh
don't trust Trump.
God.
That's the thing. It's Trump has completely upended any sort of trust in anything. Look at what's happened with Tylenol. People no longer want to listen to the advice of the CDC because now it's insane information coming out because it's like, well, wait a minute. Now Tylenol? And I understand that the CDC is just kind of like standing behind Trump, and there's probably a lot of people being like, what the
Mhm.
hell? But you understand this is the federal government now. The president of the United States, who couldn't even practice saying acetaminophen before he went before the American public, could not even practice saying the effing word,
I know.
just screamed at women, screamed at them to not take Tylenol, to just
You
deal with
gotta
it,
you gotta toughen up. You gotta toughen it up. You gotta, you can't
and
do that
blamed
anymore. You
them.
gotta
And blamed them.
blame women. That's how exactly how it felt
They
to me. God, it's so good to talk to you. I
It's like,
it's
screw
we blame,
you, man.
and
Like,
you and I both know that if anything goes wrong with a pregnancy, women blame themselves
of
immediately.
course they do.
If a baby was born prematurely, like one of mine was, if there's some type of complication during pregnancy, if whatever happens, there's some kind of birth defect or outcome that isn't 100%
Yeah.
optimal, a woman will blame herself. And now the government is saying, lady, it's your fault because you took Tylenol.
Yep,
If you
exactly.
could have just been tougher, if you could have just, sweated it out,
Rub some dirt
you would
on
have
it,
been
John.
fine.
Exactly. And fever,
Dirt on it. Who said that? That's
fever,
funny.
John did. And a fever is also very dangerous, especially early in a pregnancy.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. And the thing is, it's like and Trump is such an ass. Like, don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Like,
Don't take it. Don't
don't
take it.
take it. And
And he
you
said it a million times. Right now, the makers of Tylenol are like, let's count
I
how
would
many times
sue
he
his
said
ass.
that. And for every time he said it, that's going to be another $1 trillion added onto our lawsuit.
Well,
Right?
who's going to get sued? Do you sue Tylenol now? Like, Tylenol is going to get face a bunch of lawsuits, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If I was Tylenol, I would sue Trump, and I'd be like,
So
prove it.
there was already a lawsuit. I did a little research because we had David Katz on the show today, but there was already a lawsuit, a class action suit, I think, from a group of parents that were suing the makers of Tylenol, or people that were suing Tylenol. And the case was tossed out. But this new, false fake news revelation from Trump and RFK Jr. about Tylenol may breathe new life into that case now. But if I'm the maker of Tylenol, whether it's Vector is the name of it or it starts with a V, if
Okay.
I'm the maker of Tylenol, 100% I'm suing because
Yeah.
all the science, like the real true science, is on their side.
Of course.
But doesn't matter. If you're pregnant right now,
You're
you
not
and
going to
I,
take Tylenol. You're
if
not going to
we're
take Tylenol.
if you're pregnant right now at this very moment in time, or if you have a young child who's suffering a fever or any type of illness that usually you would have given them Tylenol for, are you, even though you know that it's junk science, are you giving them
Oh
Tylenol?
yeah, I'm taking Tylenol. I mean, I don't give a shit. I mean,
There are
I'm
so
taking
many
Tylenol
parents.
as much as I want to take Tylenol as I did before.
I knew, uh, based on scientific fact, that vaccines don't cause autism. Yet, when Jenny McCarthy went on Oprah and said, I saw the change in my child's eyes the minute the vaccine went in, I saw the change. She said that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I then have an infant and I'm taking my infant into the doctor. And again, I know without a doubt that it's all bullshit. And I still have this feeling like
Mm-hmm.
I told the doctor, I'm like, I just, maybe we could spread these out a
I spread
little.
mine out. I
Maybe,
did. Full disclosure, I
even
spread
though,
my vaccines out on my
and,
kid.
and that's full of bullshit too, because
I
the
know.
truth
My
is
doctor
that
looked at me and he was
I
not
know.
happy, but he was like, whatever,
Because it
fine.
just means more pain and shots for your baby, because it doesn't matter if it's spread out. It's still the immune response kicking in, whether it
I
happens
know.
all at once or whether it happens over so whatever. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
How those words can affect you, even if you know they're bullshit,
Yep.
even if you still think, well, what if?
Yeah.
What if I'm making a mistake? Because it's that parent in
Of
you that doesn't
course. You
want to
want to
do
protect
anything
your
wrong.
kids. Yes.
And so I think Tylenol not only has a case with what Trump said, but with how it will affect their sales. I think anyone who's hurt by a kid who, loses hearing from a childhood fever because their parents wouldn't give them Tylenol, like,
Right?
just think about all the
So
bad
many
things that are going to
things.
happen. When we have this technology to help people avoid pain or inflammation, or the complications of really high fevers, which can affect your body in different ways, how we have the technology to help, and here comes Captain, let's put
Stupid
the light
ass.
inside the body, swallow bleach, now telling us that Tylenol's bad. Like, I think there should be a class action lawsuit against him for all the
Yes.
damage he just did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I was listening to this interview. I think I was listening to Fresh Air or something last night, and they were talking to a bunch of people about it. And basically, it just came down to, it was like, talk to your doctor, like the person that knows you and your health, like personally, like how you've been, your personal ins and outs.
Mhm.
That's the person you should be talking to about whether or not you should take Tylenol.
Right.
Don't don't look to Donald Trump. Sure, don't look to RFK Jr. But like,
Wasn't he the guy who was slapping a whale head onto his car and eating bear meat from
exactly, and has
Central
like
Park?
brain worms. Like, who gives a shit? Like, just talk to your doctor and just ask, like, should I be? But then, Kim, it goes back to, well, what part of the country are you in? What kind
Yeah.
of doctor are you listening to?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, all I know is this: Tylenol if you have something above the head, Advil if it's below the head. That's
Is
how
that the rule? Oh,
well, that's how I take it. If I have a
well,
headache, if anything's above the head, that's when I take Tylenol. And then if it's like something below the head, I take Advil. And then you can go back and forth depending on your pain. If you have like a really serious injury, you can fluctuate
I forget whether
on
it
pain
was
meds.
RSV or what type of virus one of my kids had, but the fever was so bad and it lasted for like more than 24 hours that they told us to kind of use both child Motrin and
Yeah, you
child
can go back and
Tylenol,
forth because you
that you
can.
go back and forth
Yeah,
to
but
like
that's like
keep
if you have
that
a
taken
major
care.
thing throughout your
Right.
body. Yeah. But
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
have a headache, I take
Mhm.
Tylenol. And if I
Yeah.
have something achy on my body,
Mhm.
I just take Advil.
Yeah.
That's my rule. I feel like that's what works. So if you want any medical advice from someone who's not a doctor.
Yeah, take that. I actually trust the advice more from your mom, who's a nurse. By the
Yeah.
way, what did she say? Did you ask her about the
I
Tylenol
don't
thing?
talk.
Which did she just roll her eyes, or did
I
she?
haven't even talked to my parents about
Oh
it.
my God, your mom is like
I
a true nurse. Like, she's the
but
real deal.
I did talk to the nurse that I work with at the school that I work at, and she was just
Okay.
like, it's total BS. Like,
Yeah.
she was like, it's so stupid. It is so, so stupid. But
Mhm.
again, I just feel like we're in this moment where
Yeah.
you can't trust the leader of the country. And that's the scariest part, is that he can stand in front of a microphone and he's so dumb. I mean, we're talking about someone, and I'm sorry. And I know this is like the lowest thing on the list of stupid shit
Mhm.
that he's done. But to actually do a whole presidential picture list and put an auto pen of Joe Biden
Oh,
and actually do that. And
yeah.
and and we just let it go because we know our president is
Is
that
nuts.
childish.
We roll our eyes and we go, okay, ignore, move on
That's
to the
how
important thing.
low we have sunk as a
Any other
country.
president, and that would have been like, he did what? And with this president, that's like, so there's an auto pen under Biden's name outside the Oval? Like, that's the least of our worries, right?
That is
Yeah.
And that is so unbelievably sad,
It's
is that
sad, it's
we are
petty.
fine with it
Yeah.
because our president is that big of a child and we've accepted it. That is insane if you think about it.
But
Really, that
but
is
I guess it
Think
reflects
about that.
on us, but don't you think it also reflects on Trump and his mental health?
But no, we put up with it. It's worse on us. Honestly, it is worse on us as a
Yeah.
country. I'm not us because we hate it, but
Yeah.
as a country, the fact that we have now accepted it is insane. Think about this. Think about how absolutely insane it is that we think that it is okay for him to do that. And we're like, if Obama dared the tan suit. Remember, I mean, we always bring up the tan suit because it was so ridiculous, but think about that. We have failed ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
I
The standards
just,
have gone out the window. Like there's no
nobody cares.
standards
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly, Rev. No one cares anymore. We accepted the crazy as normal. And that's the thing. It's like we've just been beaten as a country down by the ridiculousness that is Donald Trump. And he's such a embarrassment.
Yeah.
He's so embarrassing.
It's horrible.
And people love him. And it boggles. And people are like, oh, isn't that funny? And I look at them, I'm like,
Not.
It's really not.
Even if you disliked President Biden and you thought he was the worst president ever, this is blatant disrespect.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. And if you want to talk about something that stirs up violence, it's this type of disrespectful treatment where you can treat someone like trash. Or you can, that stirs up these horrible feelings against people. It's awful. It's bad. And you talk about what we've come to expect from Trump. How about that speech at the United Nations where he told
all your countries are going to hell.
All your countries are going to hell. This is the message from America.
But did you hear that half the countries couldn't hear him?
Thank God.
Their earpieces apparently did also. So the escalator stopped, which he was pissed about. And the teleprompter stopped working, which he was pissed about. And then apparently unless you had the translator thing in, you couldn't hear anything. And because he went up to Melania and asking how the speech was. And she's like, I couldn't hear you at all. And he's pissed. And I'm like, dude.
He called it, what did he say? It was a triple sabotage. He thinks it was triple sabotage.
Good. Nobody wants to hear your stupid ass speech anyway. Nobody wants to listen to you insult them. Literally, why do we want to sit here for however long as you spoke, bloviated without a freaking written speech? Not that you would have probably followed it anyway. I'm the best. Your countries are going to hell. I'm the best at this. You're born
the best. Oh, and I solved 7 wars and I'm the best at everything and you all suck.
I have to walk up all these steps. They became stairs. They just became stairs, you dumbass. Walk.
Look at the Melania's face.
I will give it to her though. She didn't miss a beat. Like literally, if you watch the video, it stopped. She looked and then she just walked up him. It was 2 seconds. He tapped the side. He was pissed. He had to walk up those stairs. I'm like, dude, get over it.
She's he is whatever. What is he, 80, 81? So, I mean, maybe walking up
and
the
he's
stairs
probably had a stroke with the way his mouth is drooping.
Maybe that's that wasn't easy for him. But yeah, she just plopped right up. She's in her 50s, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's fine. She's in excellent shape, I'm sure. She looks fabulous. So let's
look at the side eye she's giving him, this look of disdain.
She's like, sorry, dude, you're gonna have to get your steps in. Yeah. Sorry. Or you're gonna actually have to exercise.
To move your ass. Yeah.
He's like, what's going on? I mean, it did seem sudden. And I was kind of cackling a little bit, but they do say supposedly it was triggered by something, whatever. Who gives a shit? It's stairs.
Well, they're saying it's on purpose, that there's somehow that was overheard that there were UN workers saying that they were going to sabotage the elevator from Trump's. But then there was word that it was actually the camera person with the Trump organization that triggered something at the top of the steps. So come on. And
somebody from the White House was working the teleprompter. So Don't
Right.
blame them. So
So what
whatever.
kind of a big deal is it? Walk up the stairs or take the elevator. I mean, why do you have to
Exactly.
make a big deal out of it? But this is the type of infantile behavior that we should be, I think, humiliated about. He goes
Mhm.
to the United Nations, which is basically pulling all this crap in front of the world. So this is how the world sees us now. Like
Well,
we couldn't find anyone better than this guy to represent us. That's who we are.
the whole world laughs at us. I mean, he thinks that he's this strong leader, but the whole world, I mean, everybody laughs. I think people want to like interact with him because he's such this character, but everybody's laughing at that. But I will say this, I mean, he is who he is, but again, he is,
At
I
least
think,
he's
doing
true to
all these
himself.
he's doing a lot of this crap because we are distracting from the one story he does not want anyone to talk about, of course, which is Epstein.
Yeah.
Apparently, and again, it's coming. So the House they're of course trying to stop that vote. We keep getting closer and closer to the full floor vote to force the release of the government files related to Jeffrey Epstein. And we've gotten a couple more Democrats. So like it's being narrowed. Apparently Massey, the Republican that's behind it, he has the votes. He keeps saying, he's like, I have the votes to
Yeah.
force the release. He does not want these files released.
No.
And then I saw something today that they're like, it was the 90s. What does that mean?
What does
That
that
the
mean? It was okay to abuse younger people, minors, underage kids in the 90s? That was
and
okay?
yeah, and apparently some GOP lawmakers are
I didn't.
privately being pressured, including
Mhm.
Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Lauren Boebert, to withdraw their name from the petition to release those files. If that happens, look, I mean, again, if the files aren't released, then I think that gives Democrats completely everything they need for the
Yep.
midterms. I mean,
With the election of, I think her name is Adelita Grijalva,
yeah, from
to replace
Arizona.
her father. They say they have the votes needed now
Mhm.
to have the files released.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean, it should be there. There should be no problem. Well, that's why they're trying to pull the
mhm.
Republicans that they're trying to get some off. I know the statue was funny.
So what is it with the friends of such and such? They
No, we
put this,
were friends. It's
they
not a big deal.
they had a permit, although the permit didn't say that this is what they're going to do. They had a permit to put the statue up in DC, and they did. And then, of course, he who can't, withstand criticism got wind that there's a statue of him holding hands with Epstein and frolicking in the Capitol, and they have it taken down in the middle of the night. It was supposed to be up until Sunday. But if that
Right.
doesn't tell you something, if there was no there, then why would you be upset over something like that? Why wouldn't you just roll
Well,
your eyes and say the truth would come out?
I mean, again, I wouldn't want a statue of me with a freaking sex trafficker either,
Well,
but
Nikki, you wouldn't be with a sex trafficker. You want to know
exactly.
why? Because you would have come out swinging against that. You know who
Yeah,
didn't?
Trump.
The Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson,
Oh,
even after Epstein was apparently charged or whatnot with horrible crimes and sex trafficking, she wrote him a letter saying that he'd always been publicly, she was saying one thing, privately, she was writing letters saying, you've always stood by us and we stand by you, type of thing.
ugh,
And so now, in the last week or so, she's been excommunicated from all the charity organizations that
good.
she's been involved with because the notes have been published in the UK and nobody wants anything to do with her now.
Of course.
Hmm.
Anybody that's gonna do something like that, cut them off. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, just absolutely cut them off. So yeah, I mean, this story is not gonna go away, and if it does, then that's the end. If Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, I mean, if I can't imagine them swallowing it. You know what I mean? I can't imagine them walking away from this issue. And so it's going to be released. And again, it should be. And if Dems go down with it too, Dems go down with it too. I don't give a crap.
Hmm.
Burn them all at the stake. If you are wrapped up in the horrors of what Jeffrey Epstein did, you should go down. I do not care what letter goes after your name in politics at all. At all. And for any Republican thing, Democrats are going to go down too. Okay. I do not care. I mean, I don't care if Washington is cleared out. We could start all over again. I could give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I do not care. I think the only one who would break me is if it was Obama or like Pete Buttigieg or something.
It says something that they're trying to pressure members of the GOP to now keep these files private.
Of course. That's
I thought they
exactly.
were for transparency, Nikki. I thought,
Oh, yeah, right.
didn't they release the conversation that the attorney for the Justice Department had with Ghislaine Maxwell in Florida? See how transparent they are? That
Yeah,
they
right.
released some ridiculous conversation where no one was telling any type of truth,
No,
but they don't want to release the files. Why?
no, yeah.
Why?
They're
Everyone
just
should
trying to,
ask
they're
why.
just trying to distract from everything.
Mhm.
And, the next thing that they're going to distract from, which honestly, these two headlines, Kim, they are major distractions. And I imagine, so I don't know when the full vote on this is coming. Do you know what day that's coming on the
On the
Epstein files?
I'm not sure. I would
Okay.
imagine that Grijalva has to be sworn in first,
Okay.
right?
So two headlines concerned me today, and it was all, this is fine. Everything's fine. One, White House will begin mass firings if there's a government shutdown. That's coming
Mm.
not until October 1st, of course, which is huge because we've already had all these firings and the government's. And then Hegseth calling every single military general, admiral from across the friggin' world into one place.
What does he want?
I don't like that idea. How about this? I don't like all of our military personnel in one location at one time. Does that not seem like a
It just
terrible idea?
He's not telling anybody why he's having this
Why?
meeting. What is it? More than 800 US military generals and admirals have to report to a Marine base in Virginia to go to this Hegseth command
Meeting?
performance. Everyone's got to show up kind of.
And people are like, oh, it's going to be a mass firing of woke generals. Are you, well, one, you should, I don't think that I think for our national security, you should not have that many top military people in one place. I
No,
just don't. And they're abandoning their posts. Like, can we not zoom them in? Like, have we heard of this? Like, it's 2025. Do we need to do this all? Everyone needs to physically be there. I just feel like this sounds shady as shit. And I don't like it. And I don't like Pete Hegseth. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So I don't like that. And that's supposed to happen next week, right? So
yeah.
those two things, the mass firings and this thing, I feel like are two huge stories that are going to try to overshadow the Epstein thing.
Because you mentioned Hegseth, let me pile on. Let me throw this file onto the bonfire. The recent news out of the Pentagon that he will not let he doesn't want anybody to report anything that's coming out of the Pentagon unless they say it's okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to tell you what you can report.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to let the government tell you what the news should be.
And let me just clarify, this means
what?
Unclassified things as well. Because people are like, well, classified. No, this means unclassified things as well. So it's not just, well, classified information national. No, this is news stuff. Like things you find out that are unclassified. You should be able to report. They want to control everything. And people that support this administration screamed about the Democrats and all the fear that the Democrats were going to do this to the country. And they are just literally bowing down to this administration as they, in 9 months, have done everything that they screamed they were afraid of. Look at this asshat.
And they masquerade as being patriots and Americans. Part of the foundation of America is a free press. So I call
they don't want a free press. Why would they want that?
Un-American. That is un-American. What he is doing is un-American.
And again, we're gonna. I always like to end our politics on an up note. I do believe, like, I watched a lot of Jon Stewart, Kim, and I do believe we have things going for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even though like, I'm gonna name all the things we don't have going for us, right? Like, he has the courts, he has the media, he has this, that, and the other, right? The thing that he doesn't have, though, that he can't control is the fact that we are huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are a gigantic country. That while on one hand, he can control traditional media,
Mm-hmm.
he can't control all of it, right? He can't control social media. He can't control all the ways that we interact with each other.
Sure.
And so, while yes, there are ways in which he can try to, he can't do it all. And I think there has to be this breaking point where enough people are going to be F this shit. You know what I mean? Like, when you have people like Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, all these other people being like, oh,
when even they're like,
you know what I mean?
remember freedom of speech is on the Constitution.
When you have, even Marjorie Taylor Greene calling out Donald Trump over the Epstein files, when you have at least some connections where they're like, no, you have to hold on to those, right? And back on January 6th, we had a lot of Republicans that were just like, we can't do that, right? Like, we have to find the common grounds. And I do believe, I know maybe I'm being Pollyanna-ish, I do believe there's more of those Americans than there are of the ones that steal the headlines. I really, truly do. I love him.
I know.
And I'm sorry. Every time I listen to him, I still honestly go back. I'm like, I'm going to vote for the guy. I don't give a shit. I know that you guys keep telling me that he can't win, but every time I see him, I'm like, I don't care that he's gay. I feel like he can convince America. I just do.
I'm giving them, first of all, I'm clicking like, and also because I want you to end on an up note, I'm going to play you what he had to say.
Okay, thank you.
Recognize the damage that Donald Trump is doing to this country. I want to point out that more and more Americans are. This is easy to miss because it doesn't get covered much, but public opinion has been moving quickly and dramatically away from the president. Among young people, he's lost 34 points of support. And I think it's because he's failing to keep his most basic promises. He hasn't brought prices down. They're going up because of his actions. The economy as a whole is getting worse. And most Americans see that and recognize it. And it's showing up in the way that they think and talk about the president. So don't fall for this attempt to make you feel disempowered. Raising our voices makes a difference. It's clearly having an effect, and we've got to keep it up. If you're wondering,
so there you go.
I feel like, and I don't want to do the whole race thing, but like, don't you just feel like this Obama, like, I will turn to Pete Buttigieg to make me feel better-esque kind ofness, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I've never, ever felt like I could turn on the television, and I'm not even talking politics. There has never been a moment, and I'm sorry for all you Trump supporters, there is no effing way that you've ever turned on the television and be like, he's going to make me feel better. No, he might make you laugh. He might make you be like, yeah, stick it to the Dems. But the consoler in chief, the uniter in chief, yes, he's going to heal the country and make us all feel better. Never. Trump has no ability to do that. And I don't know. I just love Pete so much. If he runs, I'm voting for him. I don't give a shit. I'm just voting for him. Just like I'm voting for Katie Porter for governor. I don't give a shit. Like, my votes are set. There's nothing people can say. Like, send me the ballot. I've already bubbled it in. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't care. I'm just done. It's okay. Like, it's fine.
Would you vote for Pete over Gavin?
Yeah, oh, fuck yeah. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, no. I would never vote for Gavin Newsom as president. I love him. I've told you guys this.
Wait a minute. Let's amend that, because if it was Gavin versus JD,
Oh, come on. Okay, obviously.
Right.
If it was if Gavin was the candidate for the Dems, then yes.
Yeah.
But if it was like Pete versus Gavin, no. I don't think that Gavin Newsom can win. I want Gavin Newsom to be like, the vinegar in the eye of the Republicans as Pete runs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think Gavin is the troll that will help get Pete elected. You know what I mean? Like Gavin has a role to play, but it is not. Not right now, at least. No. I mean, no. I mean, no. I just don't think he can win. I just don't think he
either
can
of them
win.
can win.
What?
We've been over this. I don't think either of them can win. It has to be some straight white dude from the South that is palatable to middle America. That's what it has to be.
I don't know. I just love him. Whatever. I mean, I'm going to vote for whoever the Democrats choose and get behind and whatever. Yes. And again, teacher, I think Newsom is awesome. And I think that he's doing what the Democratic Party needs to do. And I give him all of the kudos. Don't get me wrong. I think Gavin Newsom has led the way in this Democratic Party so many times. And I'm not saying I will never vote for him for president. I just think that this moment in time, there is no way he's convincing America to vote for him as a whole. You know what I mean? He's just way too divisive. It's too much. You know what I mean?
Like the country doesn't like California. They know you're from California automatically. Most of America's like, no thanks.
We can't go from Kamala to Gavin and expect America to vote. Like, no, it's not going to it won't happen. But I love Gavin's trolling. I think that I love his podcast and reaching across the aisle. He has a huge role to play for the Democratic Party and he needs to keep it up. But I'm sorry. I just feel like Pete can make people forget that he's gay. I do. I feel like Pete can make people in middle America be like, I have a gay friend. You know what I mean? Like Ellen did.
Middle America you and I are fine with it. I don't care.
I do.
Middle America is not going to want a first gentleman in the house. They're not going to want to think of what goes on at night in the living quarters in the White House. They're not going to want to, and trust me, those things will come up. And America's not ready for that. I could give a rat's ass. You run the country well. You're inspiring. He says that he has the most amazing ability to say the most amazing things, but America just won't tolerate it because we are at our very core, as is so evidenced and clear by everything going on, a bunch of racist, bigot, homophobes across most of the country. That's how we ended up in the situation we're in. So even those that don't like Trump will not be able to say they're going to vote for a gay dude. Listen, it's not fair. And I am not advocating what I am saying. I'm just saying it's real. Let's be real.
But I just feel like we need somebody that's inspiring. And I just feel like going for some milquetoast white dude from middle America ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? Because
it's the milquetoast white dudes who win the elections.
Yeah, but you're going to go up against the coronation of JD Vance, right? He's going to be coronated by Donald Trump. So you're going to go up against that. Like literally, you need someone that is going to inspire, not a Waltz or somebody like that. And I don't feel like it could just be some rando. It needs to be. I feel like Pete can talk to the uneducated. I don't know, guys. I
agree with Mama. She says it's so weird to her that Mexico has a first gentleman before the United States. And you think, and no offense, Mama, but maybe it's my perception as a white lady that a Latino culture is more, maybe keeping women down a little bit instead of lifting them up like this.
But they're okay with like dudes doing it. Like
if I'm wrong, but no. Well, in this case, it's a female president and her husband in Mexico.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
How weird is it to have Mexico be more progressive than America in this case? That they would have a first gentleman and a woman in their position of power. I agree. I completely agree with what she's saying. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of time between here and then. I mean, again, it's only September. It's only his
Mhm.
first effing year. I can't.
I know we're not even out of here yet.
We're
And
not
look,
even out of here. All right.
can you
Well,
imagine? Oh,
okay.
Jesus,
Let's do
look
a light
ahead.
story. Let's do a light story. Well,
Okay,
our
please
last
bring it
light
to me.
story. We
Bring
need
it
to
to
bring it
me.
down. I'm still saying Pete, but let's just stay
Okay.
positive. Let's stay positive. Okay. I have one last story that I wanted to discuss with you guys because pardon me. I feel like I'm gonna die.
No, please don't.
I heard this. Okay, so football seasons, I know you're not a big football person. It doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
Okay.
But they're talking about who's going to play the Super Bowl halftime show. Have you
Taylor
been
Swift.
following this? Okay, I love that you said Taylor
It
Swift.
has to be her.
I was thinking the same thing, but there
Yeah.
is another name that has been
Who?
thrown around. And I'm shocked by the name. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this name. You guys, let me know how you feel because on one hand, I'm like, I like her. I think she's amazing. Super Bowl, though, what do you think about a halftime show with Adele?
Huh. I don't
Adele
hope- I don't-
apparently has been approached to do this. And apparently, this isn't the first time she's been approached to do the halftime show. Now, again, we had Kendrick Lamar last year. There was a big old, they had all kinds of people doing that. Miley Cyrus is also another name that's been, but Adele's leading the pack, apparently. She was also approached Adele was also approached in 2016 to do it. She said, that show is not about music. I can't dance or anything like that. They're very kind. They did ask, but I said no. But apparently she's being asked again. Do you think
I don't think
I would rather have Taylor Swift too, my friend?
when I
But
think
I don't
football,
know. Taylor Swift is too big of a star, I feel like, for the.
No, when I think football, Adele doesn't pop into my mind. Adele is like a black velvet dress with a spotlight and a
Yes.
diva. And she's a different clientele maybe that we serve, not necessarily I'm not saying her music isn't popular because it definitely is, but I just don't know how well she fits into the, stadium full of everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like Taylor Swift has more songs that everybody knows. I mean, ask a football player or a, hardcore football guy to sing you an Adele song. Are they going to know one?
They would just be like, hello.
Hello?
I think that's the only song.
Would your husband know that though? Like, would your dad be able to sing that? No.
James, do you know an Adele song?
Skyfall.
Oh, he knows the James Bond song, Skyfall.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
there we go. There we
But I
go.
think that.
Oh, and Rolling in the Deep. Look at him.
Oh my God! I love
Rolling
that
in the
man. Bring him to me. This
I
is
know.
great.
Look at that. He
Well
knows. Look at that.
done. But I think more people now ask him to name a Taylor Swift song, and I bet
Name a
he can
Taylor
rattle
Swift song. Oh,
50.
dude, he knows all kinds of Taylor. Name a
Yeah.
Taylor Swift song. Oh, he's so full of shit. He's like, never heard
I mean,
one.
everybody knows "Shake It Up." Everyone knows her music. I just feel like she has a wider, if not a wider appeal, just more people know her. And now
Yeah.
because she's in the football scene,
Yeah.
that and plus it's very likely because they've been there the last 2 times that maybe her fiance, or if they're married by then husband,
No, they
may
won't be
be
married by
playing, and
then.
it would be very cute to have her do the thing, especially with there's so much discussion about whether her fiance Travis is going to retire from the
He's
NFL.
going
So
to retire.
it would
They're
be
not
nice
having.
for them to have that moment together to
I
both
know,
be
but
on
what
the
are we doing? Are we
spotlight.
doing this just to play like the,
Whatever.
the movie
America
scene or
loves it.
whatever?
America loves that relationship. Let's do it.
I love that relationship too. Kansas City ain't doing too well this season to start off with,
Oh,
by the way.
okay.
It's
Sorry, I
okay.
wasn't paying
It's
attention.
okay. But yeah, we're seeing the timing is perfect. Kim says for Taylor Swift right now, as soon as the season's over, she's going to get knocked up. I hope so. If that's what she wants, I would love to see a little prego Taylor Swift. I think we all just live vicariously through the young lady. So, John, I want Weird Al. That would be hilarious. But I feel like Adele would be like a Celine Dion. Like, do we really want that? I don't know. But anyways, they're late. I think they're past due of announcing
Oh.
We're getting to be past due of who's going to be doing the show. So I'm wondering. So maybe by this time next week, we will have an idea. Of who's going to be the halftime show, but maybe it'll be Taylor. I hope so. We'll see. Okay, that's our show, you guys. I have a date downtown with the Hubs. Who knows?
Oh, hot times.
I know. Hot times in the town tonight.
I love
Hey,
that
you guys.
he wanted to go do something with you tonight.
I know.
That is
He has
extra
been
sweet.
so sweet. He's been wanting to have a hot date with me for so very long. I mean,
Like, my opinion of him, not that it was ever lacking, but tonight, like, I'm feeling better and better about James. I feel like he's really having a good day.
he has. He's been asking me out like all the time. He's been wanting to do this. He wanted
Sweet.
to do a bourbon tasting with me, but it was like way too close. I was like, no. And then he's like, let's go to a comedy show tonight. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I gotta get cute and everything. So we're heading downtown. But you guys, please click the thumbs up button to support the show. And a big thank you to all of you. I know some of you have switched over from Patreon to PayPal because we've told you guys that PayPal doesn't take as much as Patreon because we do friends and family. So thank you guys so very much. And I love you guys. Also sending in your comments on YouTube because I know so many of you watch it in the recording. You don't get to watch it live. But we love you and we try to get back into the comments after the show. So thank you guys so very much. And you can always email us, the Nikki Maduro Show at gmail.com. We love getting back to you as well. And you could always donate to the show, even though it is recorded. Take care of each other. Stay sane. Don't go too crazy. I love you. We'll be back here live 5:00 Pacific next Thursday. I love you. Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.